become.
Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. US judge dismisses 2020 election interference case against Donald Trump. Special counsel drops appeal of dismissal of documents case against the president-elect. Israeli cabinet to meet in Tel Aviv to discuss and vote on a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah. US-led committee to oversee implementation of 60-day truce being proposed. ISKCON seeks India's intervention as Bangladesh arrests its leader Chinmoy Prabhu over sedition charges. 75th Constitution Day of India being celebrated. Year-long celebrations to commemorate 75 years of the adoption of Constitution to commence. And 13-year-old Vaibhav Suryavanshi becomes the youngest player in the history of Indian Premier League. Rajasthan Royals secure his place with the whopping $11 million contract. In a major legal victory for US President-elect Donald Trump, a judge dismissed the federal criminal case accusing him of conspiring to overturn the results of the 2020 election he lost to Joe Biden. Special counsel Jack Smith requests the dismissal of the case, citing a Justice Department policy that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted. Trump's refusal to concede culminated in the attack on the US Capitol by his supporters on 6 January 2021. Hailing the dismissal, Trump said that cases against him were empty and lawless and should never have been brought. Prosecutors also dropped their appeal of a judge's dismissal of the criminal case accusing him of illegally holding on to classified documents following the end of his first presidency. They cited a Justice Department policy which says that a criminal prosecution of a sitting president would violate the Constitution by undermining the ability of the country's chief executive to function. Prosecutors accused Trump of illegally holding classified records at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and also obstructing federal efforts to get them back. And US President-elect Donald Trump shows toughening of his stand against illegal immigration and drug trafficking even before he formally takes charge on January 20th next year. Though he had hinted his intentions much during the election campaign itself, his announcement post-election carries much weight, signaling implementation of his promises. On Monday, using his personal social media page, Truth Social, Trump took on China, Mexico and Canada for their actions hurting US interests. He said he would impose 25% tariff on all imports from Mexico and Canada as one of his first actions upon becoming US president. He said drugs, in particular fentanyl, were pouring into USA most through Mexico and illegal immigrants are crossing to USA through Canada. In another post, he also vowed to add a 10% tariff on China over the country's alleged lack of action on drug trafficking to the United States. He said until such time as they stop, his government would be charging tariff above any additional tariffs on all of their products coming into the United States of America. All right, updates from West Asia conflict now. The Israeli cabinet will meet on Tuesday to discuss a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah. The meeting comes after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave his in-principle approval to the plan. Netanyahu signaled his potential approval for the emerging ceasefire with Hezbollah during a security consultation with Israeli officials on Sunday night. Netanyahu's spokesperson said the Israeli cabinet will vote on the proposed deal on Tuesday and it is expected to pass. United States envoy Amos Hochstein said in Beirut last week that a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon was within our grasp, but that it was ultimately the decision of the parties. Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has expressed strong opposition to the deal, calling it a big mistake and a historic missed opportunity to eradicate Hezbollah. Now, Benny Gantz, who resigned from Israel's war cabinet in June over Netanyahu's handling of Gaza conflict, called on the Prime Minister to make the details of the ceasefire deal public. And US President Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron are expected to announce a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel imminently. Signs of a diplomatic breakthrough were accompanied by heavy Israeli airstrikes on Beirut's Hezbollah-controlled southern suburbs as Israel pressed on with the offensive it launched in September after almost a year of cross-border hostilities. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said, and I quote him, "We are close, but nothing is done until everything is done," unquote.
What I'd say is we have made significant progress with getting towards a resolution. That includes progress from where we were when I spoke to this last week, but we're not done yet. Nothing is final until everything is final. We continue to work to try and get an agreement over the line, and we're hopeful we can get one, but we need both of the parties to get to yes.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office declined to comment on reports that Israel and Lebanon had agreed to the text of a deal. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, said on Monday that talks towards a ceasefire with Hezbollah are moving forward, but insisted that Israel will maintain an ability to strike southern Lebanon in any agreement.
So we are moving forward on this front. As I said many times, our goal was very clear, which is to push Hezbollah north of the Litani River. We haven't finalized it, but we are moving forward. I assume that the cabinet will meet today or tomorrow to discuss it. And I think for us it's important what will happen after, that Hezbollah will not be allowed to come back to the fence, and we will do whatever is necessary to guarantee it. We learned the lessons from 2006.
All right, my colleague Akshay Dongre has more details on the ceasefire deal. He's joining us live from Delhi. Akshay, Israel's cabinet to meet on Tuesday to discuss a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah, and the deal is expected to be approved.
Well, Abhishek, we are hoping for the deal to be approved because, the kind of intensification that we are seeing in the southern parts of Lebanon has been rising day by day. In fact, only on Sunday, we saw about 250 projectiles being fired from Lebanon into Israel, and we are seeing that constant bombardments that are being done by the Israeli Air Force into the territory. So we are all hoping for a ceasefire deal to be approved after it is, agreed to by both sides.
And Akshay, also, any details on the proposal of the ceasefire? Also, if you have the details about the sticking points, will the initial proposal deal be for 2 months, 60 days?
Well, that's what the proposal says, Abhishek. In fact, if we talk about the details of the proposal says that Hezbollah will move out of this region of southern Lebanon, and the Israeli army will also pull back from this particular area, which will be monitored by special committees of the United Nations, as well as the Lebanese army will have more of its involvement in that area as far as patrolling and the protection of that particular region is concerned. So it seems that the agreement is both Hezbollah and Israeli army IDF will make it a buffer zone and will not be operating in that particular region, and that is perhaps the only way a ceasefire can be implemented in that particular region. Now, talking about the sticking points, like in the video bite we heard, the south of Litani River is where the Israeli Defense Forces wanted its freedom of movement and wanted a freedom to operate in case Hezbollah moves to that area, and was insistent that there should be some patrolling allowed. Now, the second sticking point obviously remains distrust between the Hezbollah and the Israeli Defense Forces. forces. They have been killing each other. They have been attacking each other. They have been targeting each other. And amid these kind of tense environments, the efforts that are being done right now by the US as well, because US is perhaps one of the most important key player here that has been able to get this deal done, because it is a close partner of Lebanon as well as Israel. The efforts have been to create some sort of trust as far as this peace deal is concerned.
All right. We are also hearing that international committee would be set up to monitor the implementation of the ceasefire agreement. We'll leave it at that. Thank you, Akshay, for your inputs. A funeral was held in southeast of Tel Aviv on Monday for an Israeli rabbi murdered in the United Arab Emirates. The body of 28-year-old Zvi Kogan was discovered on Sunday. He had been reported missing on November 21st, and an Israeli official said Kogan was last seen in Dubai. Emirati authorities have not said if they have established a motive for his killing. The UAE's Interior Ministry said on Monday that 3 suspects arrested on suspicion of murder are citizens of Uzbekistan. The ministry released a statement identifying the 3 men and released images. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said it was an anti-Semitic terrorist act, and the Israeli official said it was believed Kogan was targeted because he was Jewish. The state of Israel will use all means and will deal with these murderers and those who dispatch them to the fullest extent of the law. None of them will get away. I greatly appreciate the cooperation with the United Arab Emirates in investigating the murder. We will strengthen our ties, especially in the face of the axis of evil's attempts to harm our peaceful relations. We will strengthen them, and we will also work to expand stability in the region. Now in Bangladesh, protests broke out in capital Dhaka hours after the Dhaka Metropolitan Police arrested ISKCON leader Chinmoy Krishnadas over sedition charges. The protesters had come to the Shahbag neighborhood of the city demanding release of ISKCON leader in Bangladesh. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has meanwhile urged the Indian government to take immediate steps seeking the release of ISKCON leader. Taking to social media platform X, ISKCON said, and I quote, "It is outrageous to make baseless allegations that ISKCON has anything to do with terrorism anywhere in the world. ISKCON Inc. urges the government of India to take immediate steps, speak to the government of Bangladesh and convey that we are a peace-loving Bhakti movement. We want the government of Bangladesh to release Chinmoy Krishnadas immediately." Unquote. And Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has approved the decision to mobilize the Nepalese army to ensure a safe and peaceful environment during the by-elections. Nepal's Election Commission has scheduled by-elections for December 1st to fill 41 vacant positions. A total of 410 candidates had registered their nominations in the upcoming local by-elections. The by-elections will see participation from 25 political parties. To promote gender inclusivity, only women candidates are allowed for the 4 vacant vice chair positions in this by-elections. And French prosecutors have demanded maximum 20-year prison sentence for Dominique Pellicot, who organized the mass rape of his then-wife by knocking her unconscious with drugs and inviting dozens of strangers to abuse her. For other defendants, the prosecution called for shorter sentences, with hearings continuing on Tuesday. The verdicts and sentences are expected around December 20th. The demand came as the French government unveiled new measures to combat violence against women, including raising awareness about the use of drugs to commit sexual abuse. Pellicot has admitted the charges. Most of the charges have admitted abusing Pellicot but denied rape. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Indian President Draupadi Murmu to address Parliament's special session to celebrate 75 years of the adoption of Constitution of India. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets his counterparts from several countries in Rome, also speaks on conflicts in West Asia and Ukraine. And 175 countries meet in South Korea's Busan to secure an international treaty to curb plastic pollution. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. India is celebrating its Constitution Day today, a milestone that shaped the democratic framework of the nation. It marks the adoption of the Indian Constitution by the Constituent Assembly in 1949. The day is a tribute to the framers of the document. Constitution Day is also known as Samvidhan Divas. More in this report.
Preamble of the Constitution. We, the people of India, have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. 75 years ago, on 26th of November 1949, in the Central Hall of Parliament building, through the members of the Constituent Assembly, we the people of India adopted, enacted and gave to ourselves the constitutions. The Constitution of India is enshrined as the foundation of the world's largest democracy. It is the supreme law within the framework of our democratic system and it consistently guides us in our endeavors. The Constitution is both the source of our democratic governance system and a guiding force. We the people is an invitation, a pledge, a faith. This sentiment expressed in the Constitution is the original sentiment of India, which has been the mother of democracy in the world. This sentiment is also visible in the Republic of Vaishali and in the hymns of the Vedas. Our democracy resonates in our Constitution. Provisions have also been included to permit necessary amendments that satisfy future generations' needs in our endeavors in ensuring that the Constitution remains relevant over time.
This Constitution is flexible and the beauty is this in the spirit, in the preamble. This Constitution is our pride and I can say that this Constitution is the best Constitution and it has superiority over other constitutions.
We have adopted the best practices from the constitutions of other countries. Moreover, the values of our ancient heritage and the ideals of our struggle for independence can also be seen in our Constitution. Our Constitution is for the people of India, by the people of India, and of the people of India. It is a national document that also reflects the democratic systems prevalent in our ancient Indian republics and other Buddhist communities.
It's a very wonderful, beautiful provision. If all countries could adopt Article 51C or its spirit and behaved accordingly in their relations with each other, we would have a much better world. Respect for international law, for example. It is the lack of respect for international law that is causing the conflicts and wars that are going on at the moment.
The people of India are worthy of congratulations for the values and respect that the Indian Constitution has earned over the past 75 years. Similarly, the three branches of the central and state governments, namely the legislature, the executive and the judiciary, are deserving of congratulations. Strengthening the relationship and coordination between the union and the states India's journey towards cooperative federalism is a living example of the dynamism of our constitution. Today, we have a great opportunity to express our gratitude to the architects of our constitution who have provided for peaceful, revolutionary changes through constitutional amendments. It should be hoped that by being vigilant about this constitutional standard and living up to our constitutional ideas, we will succeed in establishing India as the ideal democracy in the world. Bureau Report, DD India.
And India's President Draupadi Murmu will address a special joint sitting of Parliament at the Central Hall of the Old Parliament Building on Tuesday to mark 75 years of the Indian Constitution. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will attend the celebrations. As part of the celebrations, a commemorative coin and stamp will be released to mark the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Indian Constitution. Two books, Making of the Constitution of India, A Glimpse, and Making of the Constitution of India and Its Glorious Journey, will also be unveiled. Additionally, a booklet on the art of the Indian Constitution and versions of the Constitution translated into Sanskrit and Maithili will be launched. A short film tracing the Constitution's making, historical importance and evolution will be screened for attendees. The event holds special significance as it marks the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949. The Constitution came into effect on January 26, 1950. All right, for more on this, DD India's Vikas Sarthi joins us live from Delhi. Vikas, special event will be held today to mark 75 years of the Indian Constitution. Tell us about the significance of this day, and President, Vice President and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be part of this special event.
Right, Abhishek. So it's an important day not only for the government but for the bodies of lawyers and particularly judicial society. You can say that for the judges it is also a very important day. And as far as the functions are concerned, there are a number of programs are being celebrated throughout the country. In the morning, as you just mentioned, the first and foremost program will be held in the what we call now Samvidhan Sadan. Earlier it was the old Parliament building in Central Hall. There is a special program for observing the 75 years of the Constitution of India, and as you just mentioned, that President will also release a commemorative stamp and coin. Apart from it, there is another function which is being organized by the Supreme Court of India in the evening, and their Prime Minister will participate in that particular function and also address the gathering of judges and lawyers. As far as this day is concerned, earlier this day was celebrated as Law Day, but in 2015, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that we should celebrate it as the Constitution Day, to give the real meaning of the spirit of this particular day. On 26 November 1949, the Constituent Assembly adopted final draft of the Constitution of India. We have seen several changes in the past decade. Particularly, the government came up with the idea that the original draft or the original copy of the Constitution India, which was released on 26 January 1950, that should be made available to the public also. So there is an exercise to involve the public at large in all these functions and all these celebrations. And today also a special website has been put there, the constitution75.com. People have been asked to record their pledge, to record the preamble of the Constitution and share their pictures, photographs and videos on that particular platform. So everybody has an idea that how many people celebrated or participated in the Constitution Day celebration. So that is another initiative, and whole idea we have been witnessing that earlier also when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister of a state, the Gujarat state. There also he came up with the idea that we should hold public gatherings, we should hold public events to commemorate the Constitution Day, and there also he organized a kind of a kind of celebration throughout the state. So that trend is being witnessed at the central level also, and also in these several states. a number of states, special programs are being organized.
Yes, outreach programs, awareness programs are being organized by the government. We'll leave it at that, Vikas. Thank you for your inputs. A Durga Puja Pandal this year commemorated the 75 years of the adoption of the Constitution of India through art. From beautiful paintings, installation architecture to color palette, every corner of the Pandal beautifully highlighted different aspects of the Indian Constitution. Artist Asim Paul, who conceptualized and executed the entire Pandal, ensured that even the lighting arrangement and idols were in tune with the theme titled which is celebration. The Pandal not only grabbed attention for its artwork but intrigued many as it highlighted several lesser known facts about our constitution. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Rome, where he met his counterparts from several countries including South Korea, the UK, France and Ukraine, and discussed ways to deepen cooperation in multiple sectors as well as regional and international developments. The minister met South Korean counterpart Cho Tae-yul at the G7 foreign ministers meeting in Fugue. Dr. Jaishankar said he values his conversation with Cho on the global situation. Earlier, he met his Ukrainian counterpart, Andrei Sebeha. Both the leaders exchanged views on advancing bilateral cooperation. External Affairs Minister also reiterated India's support for dialogue and diplomacy. He also met French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot, Lebanese FM Abdallah Abu Habib and British counterpart David Lammy. And bilaterals took place alongside the Mediterranean Dialogues Conference, where External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar made his opening remarks. He said that the new element of the relationship between India and the Mediterranean would be connectivity. He also emphasized that the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor can be a game changer.
The IMEC, the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor, that was announced in September 2020 can be a game changer. The conflict underway currently in the Middle East has undoubtedly been a major complication, but it is proceeding, the IMEC is proceeding ahead on the eastern side, especially between India and the UAE and Saudi Arabia. I also flag your attention to the I2U2 grouping of India, Israel, UAE and the US, expected to be more active in times to come.
And the minister also highlighted the growing significance of connectivity in global relations, especially in the context of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and its impact on the region. Dr. Jaishankar is in Rome to also participate in the outreach session of the G7 foreign ministers meeting, where India has been invited as a guest country. Earlier, Dr. Jaishankar ended his day one in Rome enjoying the cultural performances along with Secretary for Foreign Affairs of the Philippines, Enrique A. Manalo, and Foreign Affairs Minister of Indonesia, Sugiono. Time now for a short break. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. India marks the 16th anniversary of 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. On World Sustainable Transport Day, a special report on Delhi Metro, one of India's biggest success stories. And we'll show you all the buzz at the 55th edition of IFE, as it is hosting back-to-back masterclasses for young and creative minds.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we have done so far. US judge dismisses 2020 election interference case against Trump. Special counsel drops appeal of dismissal of documents case against the president-elect. Israeli cabinet to meet in Tel Aviv to discuss and vote on a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah. US-led committee to oversee implementation of 60-day truce being proposed. ISKCON seeks India's intervention as Bangladesh arrests its leader Chinmoy Prabhu over sedition charges. 75th Constitution Day of India being celebrated, year-long celebrations to commemorate 75 years of the adoption of the Constitution to commence. And 13-year-old Vaibhav Suryavanshi becomes the youngest player in the history of Indian Premier League. Rajasthan Royals secure his place with a whopping $11 million contract. India observes the 16th anniversary of the horrific 26/11 terror attack in Mumbai, which took place in 2008. As many as 166 people lost their lives and over 300 were injured after 10 terrorists from Pakistan launched simultaneous attacks in several parts of the Maharashtra city. The heroics of the Indian Army and Mumbai police led to all the Pakistani terrorists being eliminated.
November 26th, a day that shook India but also ignited a fire of resilience and resolve. India promised to never let history repeat itself. From the surgical strikes in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir and Balakot to counter-insurgency operations on the Myanmar border, India's message was clear. We defend with precision and strike with conviction. To secure our borders and our people, the 2024-25 defence budget stands at 6.22 lakh crore, the highest among all ministries. This includes 1,72,000 crore rupees for capital acquisition and 92,088 crore rupees for operational readiness. Atmanirbhar Bharat, India has become a global leader in defence manufacturing. BrahMos missiles and HAL Tejas fighter jets to INS Vikrant and bulletproof jackets, we are creating for the world and securing ourselves. Our future is in cutting-edge technology, AI-driven defense systems, hypersonic missiles, and state-of-the-art drones. India is not just defending its borders, but reshaping global security standards. From November 26th to today, India stands tall, strong, secure, and self-reliant. This is the story of a nation that never backs down.
And as the 13th plenary meeting of Regional Committee of UN Global Geospatial Information Management, Asia and Pacific, hosted by Survey of India, is being held at Bharat Mandapam IECC on 26 to 29 November in New Delhi, India. Here is a look at how the geospatial technology being used in various sectors in India.
Geospatial technology, a technology that is becoming increasingly crucial in various sectors in the country like urban planning, defense, environmental management, administration, infrastructure and transportation. But what is geospatial technology? It is a term used to describe the range of modern tools contributing to geographic mapping and analysis of the Earth and humans. It is an emerging field of study that consists of three major disciplines: Geographic Information Systems, GIS, Remote Sensing, RS, and Global Positioning System, GPS. So where is India using geospatial technology? keeping an eye on India's international borders, planning smart cities of the future, delivery of key life-saving vaccines, monitoring assets and projects, and even disaster mitigation, geospatial applications are driving modern India's socio-economic growth. Many private sectors are using drones and geographic information systems to carry out surveys for infrastructure projects like railways, highways, and city planning, whereas the Rural Development Ministry is using it to run social projects like Manrega and management and development of rural assets. And this is being done by using real-time monitoring through geotagging. India's total domestic geospatial market is set to reach rupees 1 lakh crore by 2030, according to Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Also, more than 1 lakh jobs will be available in both government and private sectors in the Indian domestic geospatial market by 2030. Geospatial technology has a wide range of applications in India. This includes defense and intelligence. The government has increased its focus on self-reliance in geospatial data, transport infrastructure. Geospatial technology can optimize route planning, fleet management, and supply chain operations. Urban development. The technology can be used to plan and develop cities. Land record administration. The technology can digitize and categorize landholding data. Emergency response. The technology can support logistics and tech support during emergencies. Research and innovation. The technology can be used in research and innovation in fields like urban planning, environmental science, and social sciences. Tourism and hospitality. The tech can be used to promote tourism by providing interactive maps and location-based services. National Geospatial Policy. In December 2022, India unveiled a landmark initiative, the National Geospatial Policy. It is an incentive for innovation, industry, and infrastructure in relevant sectors.
And 17th edition of the Convention on Pharmaceutical Ingredients and PMEC India Expo is set to kick-start today. Renowned as a comprehensive one-stop destination for innovative, cost-effective solutions, the Expo will also showcase the pharmaceutical industry's modernization, innovation, and sustainability. Let's know more about it.
2020 brought the world to a standstill, but it also tested India's resilience. In the face of uncertainty, our pharmaceutical industry rose to the challenge. From manufacturing critical medicines to developing vaccines like Covaxin and Covishield, India became the pharmacy of the world. Over 220 crore vaccine doses were administered domestically, while more than 100 countries received Indian-made vaccines under Vaccine Metri. Our pharmaceutical exports crossed $25 billion in 2023, cementing India's position as the world's largest generic medicine supplier. With a growing domestic market valued at 3.2 lakh crore rupees, the government's focus on research and innovation has been unwavering. Under the 2024-25 budget, 7,500 crore rupees has been allocated to promote pharma research and manufacturing under Make in India. From combating COVID to revolutionizing global healthcare, India's pharma sector has grown multifold, touching lives worldwide and driving the economy forward. And now, the 17th edition of the CPHI and PMEC India Expo is set to showcase this remarkable journey. Starting today, it will bring together industry leaders, innovators, and global stakeholders to explore new horizons in pharmaceuticals. Join us at the India Expo Center, Greater Noida, and be part of this transformative journey. The future of pharma begins here.
And World Sustainable Transport Day, celebrated on 26 November, is a special occasion to reflect and make transport safer, more efficient, more sustainable and greener. On this day, we'll talk about Delhi Metro, one of India's biggest success stories, how it brought about a paradigm shift in urban transportation by providing a safe, efficient and comfortable mode of travel for millions of commuters in Delhi and its surrounding areas. Delhi Metro, one of the biggest success stories of India. The journey started in 2002 under the leadership of the Metro Man of India, E. Sridharan. Inaugurated by then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, first train started on the 8.4-kilometer long corridor between Shadra and Tis Hazari stations on the Red Line. 2 decades later, the rapid transit system spans nearly 393 kilometers, encompassing 288 stations across 12 corridors in the Delhi National Capital Region. An additional 65 kilometers of new lines are under construction, which will take the network length beyond 400 kilometers. The Delhi Metro facilitates over 7 million passenger journeys each day, making it one of the largest mass transit systems globally. Talking about the impact, the metro has helped to reduce the number of cars on the road, which has resulted in less traffic congestion and shorter travel times. It has also contributed to reduce the amount of air pollution in the city, as it runs on electricity, which is a clean energy source. It has also had a positive impact on the city's economy, creating jobs both during its construction and operation. Not only this, it has helped to increase the value of real estate in the areas around the metro stations. A marvel in the field of transportation, the state-of-the-art infrastructure project that has not only benefited the city of Delhi but also set an example for other cities in India and around the world. Having made a success of a mass transit project in a sprawling and populous city, Delhi Metro is well placed to guide others, and it has made it the global presence too. DMRC's first overseas advisory contract came in 2012 when it was awarded the management consulting services for the first phase of the Jakarta Mass Rapid Transit System in Indonesia, covering 15.7 kilometers. Heading north along the Mediterranean coast, the Delhi Metro is also involved in the Tel Aviv Metro project in Israel. In addition, 3 more metro networks, Alexandria in Egypt, Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and Mauritius, are also on its radar. Closer to its home base, the Delhi Metro Rail is contributing its expertise to the Dhaka Metro project, serving as a general consultant for 3 lines in collaboration with Nippon Koi and Mott MacDonald companies. Truly a game changer for public transport in the country. Abhishek Mahajan's report, DD India. And the 55th edition of FA is hosting back-to-back masterclasses for young and creative minds. These masterclasses are addressed by global filmmakers, actors and content creators. Here's a special report from Goa on how the masterclass is benefiting cine lovers.
The 55th International Film Festival of India is celebrating the future of Indian cinema by spotlighting the talent, creativity and passion of young filmmakers from across the nation. Recognizing the importance of exposing cinema students to excellence in cinematic craft and storytelling, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, through the National Film Development Corporation, is hosting nearly 350 cinema and communication students at this prestigious festival. These participants are given a unique opportunity to immerse themselves in the vibrant world of cinema through masterclasses and discussions. These masterclasses, which are held every day throughout the festival, engage with global and Indian film professionals, gaining invaluable insights into the art and craft of filmmaking. The masterclasses were attended by various dignitaries that had the celebrated names like Naga Arjun, Nitya Menon, Manoj Bajpayee, and many others. They not only shared their experiences but also imparted their valuable knowledge to young minds.
I think as a director, you try to make a scene alive, so you're searching for it all the time. So when Raman, that boat sequence was not there, we didn't plan to shoot it that way till the previous day, It is a conversation, it's a major conversation between the two characters, and it is somewhere where he's opening out and telling her. So it was a very dramatic scene, and to have him just stand in front of her and talk and say this, though we had thought of it being around it, but the next day you have to shoot. As a director, you get worried about it. Till then you're very confident because it was there as a scene, the writing is done. But as a director, you get worried that that you're not being able to do anything more to it.
Two films that come to my mind is Sri Charsobis. I love the story of a vagabond, somebody who has stars in his eyes, very hopeful, and how he makes it, how he deals with fame. That's something which really spoke to me. I loved the music in the film, the performances, everything. And the second film, which is probably my favorite, is Jagte Raho. My grandfather directed, acted, produced, wrote, edited a film at the age of 24, which was Aag. Aag was at 24, right? Yeah, at the age of 24. I'm 42 today, and I still don't have the courage to direct a film. I produced a movie called Jaga Jasoos, which again didn't work at the box office. But it's something which definitely I have a burning ambition. I'm waiting for a story to come because, a director should make a movie only if he has a story to tell, not just for the sake of making a movie.
Very early in my life, I started understanding the meaning of dialogue, meaning of the sentence which is given to you to say, to sing, or to recite. Okay. When I got admission in Delhi University, that was the time I was completely blown away by the amount of work that I had to do to really perfect the art of delivering dialogues. I was looking for somebody who could teach me the speech or the dialogue delivery. I could not get one teacher, Sudhir. There was not even one teacher who could be called an expert on dialogues and speech. Then I started looking for that particular person. So I went to Shri Vallabh Vyas, who was a very fine actor from National School of Drama. I sat with him. He made me understand that the reading of any Sanskrit literature loudly will help you in your diction, in your pronunciation, in dialogues. So I started doing that very blindly.
I think first of all, you need to have a very clear vision, very clear belief and vision that what I'm trying to say, I want to say it. Believe me, it is not important if people tell you, "Arey ye kaam karega, this will not work."
Still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll tell you all about the stock markets as Wall Street closes higher and Asian stocks slip after Trump's new tariff threats. In sports, UEFA Champions League matches lined up for tonight. Man City, Barcelona, French side Brest in action. And India observes National Milk Day on the birth anniversary of Dr. Verghese Kurian, the father of White Revolution in India.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Business updates now. Wall Street's main index has ended higher on Monday after Scott Bessent's nomination as U.S. Treasury Secretary helped push bonds yield lower. Focus also turned to talks of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon, which pushed oil prices lower, dragging the energy index lower. Trump choice announced late on Friday is making investment strategists say that Bessent could take measures to restrain further government borrowing even as he follows through on fiscal and trade campaign pledges. In all, the S&P 500 gained 0.30%, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 0.27%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.99%. While stocks in the Asia-Pacific region tumbled in early trade after US President-elect Donald Trump vowed to impose fresh tariffs on China and US border countries, Mexico and Canada. Equity benchmarks in Japan and South Korea led the decline during the session's opening. The Nikkei was 0.86% lower, while the S&P ASX 200 was down 0.34%. Trump in a social media post said he would impose an additional 10% tariff on goods from China and 25% on all products from Mexico and Canada. According to him, this measure was to cut down migrants and illegal drugs flowing across US borders. An Indian key benchmark indices Nifty 50 and Sensex are likely to react to mixed global cues in Tuesday's session. In the previous session on Monday, benchmark indices closed the first trading day of the week on a strong note, gaining over 1% each. Traders and investors are advised to focus on sectors showing relative strength such as IT and banking, while remaining selective in others. Sports updates now. We'll start with the IPL updates. Player auctions. In fact, 13-year-old cricket prodigy Vaibhav Suryavanshi from Bihar has taken the cricketing world by storm after becoming the youngest player to be sold in the history of IPL auction. Suryavanshi was sold for a whopping rupees 1.10 crore to the Rajasthan Royals. Other than him, many other Indian cricketers shown on the final day of the IPL auctions, which took place at Jeddah. Indian medium pacer Bhuvneshwar Kumar became the most expensive signing on day 2 after being signed by RCB for rupees 10.75 crore. Bhuvneshwar is the second highest wicket taker in IPL history among fast bowlers with 181 scalps in 176 matches. Mumbai Indians then roped in the services of Deepak Chahar after a bidding war with Punjab Kings and Chennai Super Kings. Akashdeep, Mukesh Kumar and Marco Jansen round off the top 5 buys of the day. Cricket to football now. Barcelona will host friend side Brest in the UEFA Champions League on Tuesday night. Barcelona's recent form is a major worry as they slipped to a second successive La Liga game without a win. However, Barcelona's coach is hopeful forward Lamine Yamal can soon return from injury to boost the side. The Spanish teenager is still recovering from an ankle sprain. Meanwhile, friend side Brest are making their debut in European competition. They are in a good position to go through to the next round, sitting pretty in the top section of the table after 3 wins and a draw from their opening 4 games. Barcelona are 2 places and 1 point below Brest in the 6th place. And Manchester City will clash against visitors Feyenoord in their Champions League match on Tuesday night. Man City manager Pep Guardiola said players have to be completely committed to the club's cause as his struggling team look to end a dreadful run of results. City's losing streak stretched to 5 matches on Saturday when Tottenham Hotspur stunned the team with a 4-0 victory at the Etihad, marking the first time Guardiola had lost 5 games in a row in his managerial career. Their campaign has been hindered by a rash of injuries, with Ballon d'Or winner Rodri, centre-back Ruben Dias, midfielder Mateo Kovacic, plus wingers Jeremy Doku and Oscar Bob among those facing spells on the sidelines. Now, every year since 2001, June 1st is observed as World Milk Day by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations to acknowledge the importance of milk as a global food and to celebrate the dairy sector. In India, the birth anniversary of Dr. Verghese Kurian on November 26 is observed as National Milk Day, who is popularly known as the father of white revolution in India. Here's more.
November 26th is celebrated as the National Milk Day to commemorate the birth anniversary of Dr. Kurian, who is known as the father of White Revolution in India. According to official data, India ranks first in global milk production. And milk production is growing at the compound annual growth rate of about 6% over the past 9 years, from 146.31 million tons during 2014-15 to 230.58 million tons during 2022-23. Dr. Kurian was born on November 26, 1921 in Calicut, which is now Kozhikode in the southern state of Kerala. Looking at the struggle of milk farmers in Anand, he along with others started the milk cooperative movement in the region, which was registered under the name of Kairat District Cooperative Milk Producers Union Limited, which was later renamed to now popular Amul. He worked towards bringing a white revolution in India and executed the much-needed program of Operation Flood. Under his leadership, many important institutions were established: the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited and the National Dairy Development Board. Dr. Kurian was the first chairman of NDDB. He worked on the Anand pattern cooperatives in milk sheds across the country, from where liquid milk produced and procured by milk cooperatives would be transported to cities. Dairy is the largest agricultural commodity that contributes to 5% of the national economy. And when we talk about dairy production in India, milk production in India, India contributes to about 25% of the global milk production. That makes India the biggest milk producer in the world. Further, to encourage farmers to take up productivity enhancement of indigenous breeds of milk animals in a scientific manner and to motivate cooperative and milk producer companies, the Government of India is conferring the prestigious National Gopal Ratna Awards on the occasion of National Milk Day. Meghna Dev's report, DD India.
Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.